Hey guys, it's Cybele. Let's talk about Mimic. Now, this is a Mesmer skill, so if you're in any other class, go run, go do your face rolling, beat face, whatever you guys do. But I was roaming around the forums a little bit, and I noticed that a lot of people don't seem to understand how Mimic works. People are screaming it needs a buff, or people are saying it's a useless skill, or it's too niche, or whatever. So I figured I'll show you guys a few things you can do with this skill, because it's actually a really potent skill. It's a regular addition to my my utility skills in any set that I build, because I'm typically tanky. Now, the way Mimic works is you press the button, whip up the shield. While the shield is up, if any range attack hits that, it absorbs it, and it puts it on Echo, which you can call up later, and basically get a free, second and a half long cast to do whatever you absorbed. Now, for the duration of that Mimic, what a lot of people don't realize is once you've absorbed that shot, for the rest of the duration of that channel you're doing with Mimic, you block everything that comes at you, and any projectiles that fire at you get reflected back. So if you're being bum rushed by, say, 10 players in World vs. World and you're all alone, you whip up that shield and you absorb one shot, you're essentially, for about the 4 seconds that are left of that, you're invincible. And then you can distortion, then you can teleport, and you can do all kinds of fun Mesmer mobility shenanigans to get out of the way. But what matters is you have another form of invulnerability, to an extent. If you have condition damage laying on you already, you're going to keep taking that, that won't get blocked. But essentially you've added an extension to your invulnerability extension from distortion into Mimic, and anything else you want to do. Now, what a lot of people don't understand with this skill, though, is that it's not picky about what it absorbs. It can be friendly or it can be hostile. Most people don't know that you can use friendly skills for this. Now, the skills that this works on. The obvious one, this works on Winds of Chaos. That is the typical one that if you're aware of this, you'll probably be using, since you can put down all your clones and then just absorb one of their shots while you're doing your thing. You can also do this on the Greatsword's Mirror Blade, which is pretty good. When you use the Mimic on that, you actually get some might, which is pretty cool. The Phantasmal Disenchanter is another one. You can have another condition removal on command if you absorb that. I haven't tested it that thoroughly, but you may also be able to fire that off at an opponent as well and remove one of their boons. So, boon removal on command. You can also, with the Torch, the Phantasm of the Torch, you can absorb the retaliation shot that comes at you. You'll still get the retaliation on that initial hit too, so you get all the benefits of it. And you can have retaliation on command on the Echo, which is incredibly useful. And on top of all this, you're invulnerable, well, next to invulnerable for the duration of that channel. So to give you an example how this works out, I'll just hit this target here. Now I'm just going to do it with the staff to make it simple, because there's a bit of a cooldown on Echo and Mimic, so I'll just show you really quick. Essentially, throw it, put up your Mimic, absorbed it, I now have an Echo ready, I'm invulnerable for the rest of this channel, and I can call this off whenever I feel like it. And I get random effect from Chaos. So in that case, I got a stack of might. Now, as you can see from this, there are a lot of really nice uses for this. Anything that bounces at you, you can use it to instantly have that invulnerability. The only risk is you don't really want to fire it into a crowd, because there's a chance that it will bounce off of them instead of you. Having the illusionary elasticity trait is great. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to get the shot to you if it decides to bounce around a bit first. Especially if you're using the staff, because the staff tends to favor opponents a little bit after, one or two bounces. But this works on anything I've mentioned. That they all work. I have tested every one of them, and it is very nice. Mirror Blade, for example, gotta be a little quick on it, but it does work. And you get your might stacks, and your opponent gets all the vulnerability. Works out very well. But I just wanted to get that out there. Not a lot of people seem to realize how this skill works. And I want people to realize it's actually a really good skill. It's not some goofy niche thing. And I feel kind of bad. I don't see it in structured PvP at all. I don't see it in World vs. World ever, even though that's where it shines the most. I mean, hell, I find it's actually really viable in dungeons. If I can, for example, fighting Lieutenant Kohler in Ascalon Catacombs, he does this area of effect pull, Well, not area of effect. He does this pull where he pulls everyone into him and does a point-blank area of effect, which tends to kill everyone that gets in that range. I can prime that Mimic, and I can block it. And that's an additional block on top of the Scepter block, on top of the Sword block if you're running Scepter and Sword into that battle, which is my personal preference for fighting him, because 2 blocks are really nice. But yeah, it's a phenomenal skill. If you haven't given it a shot yet, or you haven't purchased the skill yet, give it a shot. It's got a lot of defensive capability. It's good if you're a tanky type like myself, and you need a little more durability in the fights because for whatever reason you can't hold them off that well. It's another layer of protection you can use. It's sort of like the Warrior Shout for invulnerability for a few seconds. If you're a glass cannon, you're invulnerable for a few seconds. You don't do a whole lot of dying. But that's just what I wanted to show you guys. It's really an underappreciated skill. And I will catch you guys next time.